We'll start with the introduction. So we are joined here by the CFO of Packages Limited in person at ICAP Auditorium, Mr. Khurram Raza. Online we have Syed Haider Ali Saab, the CEO of Packages Limited, and he has been joined by the CIO, Mr. Waqas Munir. So we'll present a small overview in the form of presentation, which has already been put up on PL6, which will be followed by a question and answer session.
Oh. Can we move forward? This is all on macroeconomic update. Our reserves were 20.63 billion on April 17th versus 21.74 billion. The policy rate has been increased by 100 basis points to 11.5%, and the next MPC is scheduled on 15th of June. Inflation is above 7% and is expected to go further in line with increase in mainly led by fuel prices surge. The current account posted a surplus of $1 billion in March compared to a surplus of 231 million in February. And year to date, the equation is by and large balanced. The deficit was 1.6 billion in 2025. The interbank is fairly stable between 278 and 280, and of course on the other development, the receipt of funds from Saudi, repatriation to UAE, and have by and large kept the reserve position stable. Can we move forward, please? Just to recap, Packages Limited is a holding company, and it mainly receives dividend from subsidiaries, so its own performance is dependent by and large on the performance of its subsidiary companies. So on Packages Limited balance sheet, we have Packages Converters, which is 100% owned, Packages Investments, which is 100% owned. The real estate company is owned 75.1% by Packages. Balance sheet, Hearst is owned 41%, Bulleh Shah 100%, Packages Power is 100%, Tripack is again a subsidiary with 69% shareholding held on Packages balance sheet. Packages Lanka, our Sri Lankan operation is 79%, which owns Chandler Packages to the extent it's 92%, not 79. Starchpack is 100%, Packages Trading is 100%, DIC is 54.98, and Aneman, our holding company in Mauritius, is 100% owned on Packages balance sheet. Can we move forward? On associates and joint ventures, which we have one joint venture with Homeopac, which is owned 50% on Packages balance sheet, and IJ Holding, which is an associated company, is owned 10.54% on Packages balance sheet. And our portfolio investment include Nestle, which is 8% owned on Packages balance sheet. Coca-Cola has a very minority shareholding, and so is some shares of Systems. Our manufacturing products in different companies, what we do on Packages Converters, we do our folding carton, our flexible packaging, and our consumer product, which is mainly tissue on its balance sheet. Bulleh Shah is doing shipping cartons, which is corrugated packaging, writing, printing, and computer paper, as well as supplying board for consumer packaging, mainly in the market. Tripack is doing plastic films, mainly BOPP and CPP. DIC is providing inks, which are the rotogravure, the offset, and the flexographic. Omnia is doing calcium carbonate. Starchpack, of course, is doing glucose and starches. The mall is doing both commercial real estate as well as office spaces, which is corporate offices. Hearst has about 53 brands in pharma, mainly Flagyl, Lasix, Plavix. And within our converters portfolio, of course, there is consumer, which is mainly doing tissue. We have a 45% share on SC Johnson, which is Baygon, Pledge, Glade, Mr. Muscle, and Off. And of course, on IJ Financial Services, we do have a shareholding in 10%. We under financial IJ Holdings, we have the general insurance, the life insurance, the investment function, and the securities business. So if you look at for 2025, the unconsolidated financial statements, our income was 5.8 billion compared to 4.7 billion of same period last year. And our profit before tax and levies was 5. Yes, if you can just, I can't see. So our profit before tax and levies is 3.5 billion compared to 2.2 billion same period last year. And the profit after tax consequently is up from 1.9 billion to 3 billion, 3.05 billion same period last year. Our EPS is up from 20.68 to 34.17 on a basic, and on a diluted basis, it's 32.9. So it's been a good year compared to 2024 for the company as well as for the group. Now, if you look at the 3 months, our EPS is 2.33, and mainly on account of timing differences, and we'll hope to catch up and meet or exceed the EPS in 2025. Our current ratio is 1.38 on Packages Limited balance sheet, which was 1.1 at the end of 2024. Our long-term debt to EBITDA multiple is 3.55 at year end of 2025, but is expected to go down to 2.7 based on the projections we have for 2026. Please move back. Yes. Our debt to equity is healthy. Our debt is 23% and equity at first quarter year end was 77%, slightly up from 76% equity and 24% debt as at year end 2025. Can we move forward? When we look at the consolidated financial statements, our revenue is up from 176 billion to 193 billion. Our GP is up from 34 billion to 39.4 billion. Our operating profit is up from 19.7 to 20.9 billion. Finance cost is lower on account of reduction in both on account of reduction in interest rate as well as the total debt. So the profit before income tax is up from a loss of 29 million to a profit of 5 billion. Of course, we've discussed this in the AGM. There is a one-time hit on account of income taxes, mainly on account of derecognition of minimum taxes, as the government has changed the law of period of carryover of minimum taxes from 3 years to 2 years. So that impact, along with the current year impact, is adversely impacting the tax charge provision. However, the company on practical terms has sufficient refunds available, and we hope to get them offset against those available refunds. And consequently, on an after-tax basis, from a loss of 1.378 billion, the company is 260 million in profit. When we look at it from a, please go back on the slide. Yes, let's keep it here. Now, on side, we've just sort of put forward our first quarterly performance. The revenue is 53 billion. The GP is 12.5 billion. The operating profit is 6.7 billion. And the profit before income tax is 2.9 billion. And on an after-tax basis, it is 1.265 billion. So it's already in the first quarter 4 times more than what we have done on an after-tax basis of 260 million compared to 2025. And we hope that we are confident that we'll repeat this performance in the coming quarters, barring any unfavorable budget recommendations which may impact either the income tax or the levies part. But barring those, inshallah, the 2026 is going to be far better on a consolidated basis compared to 2025. We've done one corporate announcement in 2025 where we approved the redemption of 2 million preference shares by Packages Limited. We await formal redemption notice from IFC, and as soon as that is received, we will continue and execute this agreement. When we move forward, please. If you look at the investment book of packages and packages converters, our consumer division is about 33% of our business, our flexible business is 40% of our business, and our folding carton business is 27% of our business. We have done 51 billion of turnovers, which is 4% up from same period last year, and our EBT is up consequently to 4.9 billion compared to 4.7 billion of same period last year. Can we move forward, please? Balasha again is a 100% subsidiary. Our revenue is up 9% to 63 billion compared to 57.9 billion same period last year. Our EBT is the loss is down from 6.4 to 5.1 billion. However, if you look at it purely from quarter one results, the loss is 391 million compared to about 1.1 billion of same quarter last year. So it's a 65%, almost 70% reduction in loss. We hope that this trend, we're going to accelerate the recovery and hope to hear that this will be significant, the loss will be significantly lower compared to what we have incurred in 2025, which was of course much lower than what we had incurred in 2024. So the company is on a positive trajectory in terms of its profitability. DIC in 2025 has relocated and put up a brand new factory. So this was the year of transition. While the sales are up 6% because they had capitalized the factory in last quarter of 2025, the additional depreciation and finance cost has sort of hit them for those 2.5 months to be precise. So the EBT is down to 1.5 billion compared to 1.7 billion of what they earned in 2024. On real estate, it's a 75% subsidiary. The revenue is up 7% from 6 to 6.4 billion. The profit is up 61% to about 1.59 billion compared to about $1 billion rupees that the company earned in 2024. TriPack has done quite well. In fact, for the first quarter has done exceedingly well. So the revenue for 2025 was up to 30.2 billion compared to 29.4 billion. It's a 3% increase in revenue. The EBT, the equivalent was by and large the same for what the company incurred in 2024 versus 2025. However, if you look at the first quarter result, it's about 400% up compared to a 92 million loss which they had incurred in Q1 of 2025. The company has declared a profit of 300 billion in Q1 of 2026. So this company is also on a very positive trajectory in terms of its profitability. When we look at NIPAC, the revenue is up 21% and the profit before tax is up 24% to about 600 million compared to 484 million of same period last year. On Starch Pack, while the revenues are 127% and the loss has reduced from 1.9 billion to 1.4 billion for 2025, we're pleased to report that for first quarter, the company has turned positive black and has actually declared a profit of 36 million versus $500 million loss of same quarter last year. And the sales have also increased by 80% to 2.9 billion compared to 1.6 billion of same period last year. Next has done quite well. The sales are up by 16% to 31 billion compared to 26.7 billion. And the EBT is up 42% from 23.5 billion in 2024 to 5 billion in 2025. Packages Lanka, revenue is marginally down by 6% and consequently the EBT is down by about 5%. One major reason is that the local market, they're going through some design changes which have been implemented now, and we hope to continue our good progress on both the sales and profitability starting Q2 of this year. The trading operations in UAE has done well. The revenue is up to 264 million dirhams versus about 106 million dirham in 2024. And the profit is up to 2.3 million dirhams versus 1.8 million, which was earned in 2024. So this was a brief rundown on packages and its subsidiaries. If there are any questions, we are happy to take it now.
The analysts present online can unmute themselves and ask the question, or alternatively, they can also type those in the chat box.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Ji Saad, we can hear you.
Ji Saad.
Please proceed.
I'm Saadaji from Lucky Investments. Just had a question around the Bullishah plant. It's been in losses for a while. Can you highlight major reasons why that business is still in losses? I mean, what are the factors behind it and what can turn around? I appreciate that there's been a reduction in loss this year, but what have been the key factors for the loss in that segment? Thank you.
Saad, if you recall, I mean, the company embarked on its ambitious investment plan in 2021, and this basically involved rather on three fronts. One was increasing the production capacity from 220 to about 340,000 tons. The second was on efficiency mainly. I mean, there were many smaller investments, but second one was mainly on efficiencies, which was installing an inline coating station within our paper and board operations. And the third one was by and large related to changing the sales mix favorably, where we ended up putting up almost 100,000 corrugator plant in Karachi. It's a brand new investment and a greenfield investment. And incidentally, for paper machines, the delivery times and the capex amounts are fairly large. So by the time we were done with this investment program, the company had incurred an expense of about 28 billion rupees just on these capital investment items. Now, all of these capital streams started coming in 2024 and 2025 mainly. And in hindsight, when we made those investments, the interest rate was about 7, 8, 9%. By the time these capacity, at least for part of 2024, they came on stream, the interest rate was as high as 22%, which was these businesses are cash flow generating businesses. They do not afford these margins to be able to recoup such high investment cost on account of finance cost only. So 2024, this was when the capacities come on stream, the immediate impact of very high depreciation and finance costs hit the company. On top, we started witnessing huge dumping into the Pakistan market, for which the company, and when the dumping happens, you go, you present your case. It takes about a year to sort of get things materialized with the National Tariff Commission and all. And fortunately, the interest rate started coming down, and by December of 2025, the anti-dumping duty was imposed also. And in 2025, the corrugated plant, 100,000 capacity plant for shipping cartons, also came on stream in Karachi for full on board. So the losses started reducing. Now, if you look at even the 30 years odd trajectory of paper and board operations, the years that you make capacity investments are the years that you profit tanks. That's been there. And then when the capacity utilization started rising with the right sales mix, you make sure that you beat the graph of previous profitability which you had before you made those capital investments. So that's the trajectory. If you look at 2026, we will see a massive reduction on account of losses. In 2027, we hope to turn it real black, if already not in 2026. So these 2 years were very difficult. Admittedly, it affected the profitability even at the holdco level. The company stood behind, made those capital commitments to make sure that we firmly stand behind this entity. And hopefully going forward, we'll see the results of these investments in a much more good profitability being shown by Bulleh Shah.
Thank you for the very detailed answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saad. So we have one question from Engro. Syed Bilal is asking that post anti-dumping duty, what has been the impact on prices in percentage terms?
So, I mean, the anti-dumping duty on different products were to the extent of about 29%. What happened was these were implemented in December, and right about, and it takes about 2 months to sort of get the full impact in the market, but as soon as the impact was getting priced in, the traders went to the court and obtained a stay against it. Now, what happens with these sort of steps normally is that the market does price in some form of price escalations, and that we have witnessed to the extent of about 8 to 9%. But the full impact, unless you get total reprieve from the court, and we have made our representation to the honorable courts ourselves to make sure that this gets implemented or the stay gets vacated. So it's a constant sort of battle. But if you ask today, the full impact of those duties have not been priced in or factored in the prices. The prices have risen in the market, and more so with the recent crisis on supply chain disruptions. Now, at least with our key customers, the availability of material has become a much more profound question than the price for those materials. So those have been built in, and even for us to make sure that the customer machines keeps running is much more fundamental. And we hope to see good results going forward in Q2 and Q3 as such.
So we have Ms. Shumaila, and she is asking that we are confident that our consolidated earnings will be better. So what are the reasons that we are eyeing these changes?
First and foremost, Bulleh Shah. If you look at 2025, the loss was 5 billion. We expect to be maybe 20 to 30% of that in 2026. So immediately you'll see on consolidated earnings, because it's 100% subsidiary, an impact of that. We expect very good performance and already showing in our Q1 results from our tissue division. Herbst, which is there, though the shareholding is 41%, but because of group control, it gets consolidated in Packages Limited accounts as a subsidiary, has already shown good increase on its profitability. Tripac is up by over 400% in terms of its profitability. Has done a profit of 300 million versus 100 million loss in same period last year, and we hope to expect that this performance is going to continue in the next 3 quarters. Real estate, of course, although has done 60% more than what it had done in 2024, in 2026 the same trend continues, not to that extent, but much higher than what the company had done in 2025. So all of these factors combined lead us to believe that we are confident that 2026 is going to be much better than 2025, and already you can see our first quarterly results of 2026. Our profit is up to 1.265 billion compared to 260 million for full year in 2025.
Thank you, Khurram Sahab. So we have Ali asking that if we can comment on BSP's raw material mix and if there has been any disruption in it due to the war.
So raw material mix, I mean, what gets impacted is mainly import of wood pulp. That is one thing which we route. In terms of its power mix, it's about 90-95% on biomass-based local raw material. So that supply chain doesn't get affected. The shipping carton business, which is almost 45% of our total business mix, we procure waste paper from local market. We mix some wood pulp in it, but majority of it is waste paper and biomass, agricultural waste fiber procured from local market. So that business, by and large, stays intact, doesn't get affected. It is the wood pulp part which can constitute almost 30% of our total mix is where the supply chain challenges are. Other than that, the business remains fairly insulated.
Yes, Mehrose, you can ask your question. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. This is Mehrose Khan from Foundation Securities. Sir, like you mentioned about that the reliance of shipping carton is purely on the domestic available waste paper raw material. So I just want to know the other division, folding cartons and that other part, their reliance is 100% on wood pulp kraft paper on the imported one, or is it a mix of imported and waste paper for the raw material consumption?
So our folding carton business, the board is actually supplied by Bulesha, and it is by and large white board, and for which there is the major component, in fact, is wood pulp. And that is absolutely true. But it is supplied by Bulesha, and the ink, of course, is DIC and the market. So that constitutes about 70-80% of total raw material requirement for our folding carton business.
And would you like to comment on the prices front? What would be the a price range for waste paper in the domestic market during CY25? On a per ton basis, if you would like to comment, what were the prices during the last year?
You see, the prices are up because, as you see, just on account of freight component, the prices have, and shipping component, the prices have increased quite significantly. But the market, the good thing is that the market is ready to accept those price increases because it's happening for everybody. When you go into the portfolio of folding carton, it is fairly, you charge, depending on the end product, the pricing they do vary. So the most premium, of course, is the tobacco board, for which there is absolutely a separate price because it's a separate, the precision required, the quality requirements are very, very stringent. And then you have the food side, and then you have the general packaging side. So these are the three major segments which have their own markets and their own pricing strategy as such.
Thank you. So my last question is regarding what I have witnessed from the data in the last 10 years, pre-COVID and post-COVID as well. There was, a discount of 30%. The waste paper prices were usually traded at 30% of the imported, scrap paper. Is it really the case in the current market, or the discounts have been emerged because of the, this war situation and global supply chain disruption?
Mehrose, if you talk about the market today, it is, like I said, you see, who do you supply it to? You supply it to FMCGs, right? So if you look at any P&L of any FMCG, the packaging cost is 5-6% of their total cost structure. Now, for you really can't afford to compromise on your 95% value proposition because your 5% should be 4.9% or 5.1%. For now, what we've seen very, very recently with our FMCG customer base is that they are trying to secure, and we are trying to secure also, the availability of material for them. Price is what the market price is. That is a fact. And you are able to charge some premiums for availability now because you are on the back of it, and it's not something that you're on the back of it. You are paying those war risk premiums for to be able to get those materials also in terms of raw material. The good thing is that it is not pertaining to this company only. The general market is ready to accept those price increases, and hence in a better position to pass on those cost increases to our customers.
Okay, so on that, if this situation, the availability of the materials, if the situation normalizes, how would the market will gonna drive the prices moving forward? If the situation of availability, normalizes, what's your view on that?
Mehrose, first of all, even if the situation normalizes tomorrow, it will take about 4 to 6 months for supply chains to truly restore to their original position. That's an absolute fact. There is so much of glut and so much of backlog which needs to be cleared before market normalizes. And if market normalizes, the sale price will normalize on the back of the raw material costing structure getting normalized. So, I mean, these equations will go hand in hand as such.
Thank you, sir, and best of luck for the year 2026 and forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other questions?
Jasim.
Ji, Jasim Saab, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
जी सलामकुम जी। अच्छा मुझे एक चीज़ ये करनी है करंटली कुछ बता सकते हैं कि कैलेंडर 26 में कुछ रेवेन्यू कुछ परसेंटेज टर्म में जेनेरिकली क्या ग्रोथ देख रहे हैं कुछ?
If you look at, I think, Jasim, the best guide for this would be our first quarter results, which I showed. And that can be taken as a guideline that is going to be
Okay.
our...
ठीक है और सेकंड वन काइंडली हाईलाइट द ग्रॉस मार्जिन्स सेम लाइक दिस फॉलोइंग द फर्स्ट क्वार्टर ट्रेंड
As we speak, don't think of a reason that they would dilute, but there is good indications that they may inch up slightly.
ठीक हो गया डन हो गया उस थैंक यू सर काइंडली मैं थोड़ा सा बीच में थोड़ा सा लेट उसमें चीज मैंने सुनी उसमें वो जो एनुअल कंसोलिडेटेड लॉस है उसकी थोड़ी सी रीजनिंग तो बता देते हैं प्लीज मुझे
देखिए अगर आप कंसोलिडेटेड बेसिस पे देखें वो ईपीएस में आपको बिल्कुल 2025 में लॉस नजर आएगा एंड दैट इज बिकॉज the 100% subsidiaries, both Starch Pack and, I mean, the way consolidation works is that the 100% subsidiary loss, the EPS gets reflected on your shareholding for those. So because the magnitude of Bullish and Starch Pack loss was
Exactly.
so, it sort of eat away into the profits of packages converters. वो आपको इसलिए EPS में लॉस नजर आ रहा था, बट वो अगर लॉस का या प्रॉफिट का आप स्प्लिट देखें तो इट्स स्प्लिट इनटू अट्रीब्यूटेबल टू इक्विटी होल्डर्स ऑफ पेरेंट कंपनी एंड अट्रीब्यूटेबल टू नॉन कंट्रोलिंग इंटरेस्ट. सो वो इंसिडेंटली नॉन कंट्रोलिंग में द प्रॉफिट वाज मच हायर, बट इसीलिए इस साल वी आर कॉन्फिडेंट दैट द परफॉर्मेंस गोइंग टू बी मच बेटर बिकॉज द bullish is not expected to have that much loss that it eats away into the EPS of the company in a negative manner.
ओके मीन टू से कि एक्चुअली जो मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन है स्टार्च और बुलिशा से नेगेटिविटी कंट्रीब्यूट हुई है तो वे फॉरवर्ड इन कैलेंडर 26 वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि इसमें नॉर्मलाइजेशन हो जाएगी.
हाँ और 2027 इंशाल्लाह इसको बिल्कुल ही it should be back where it should be.
ठीक थैंक यू
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other questions. Do we have another question?
सर आई वन क्वेश्चन सर. प्रीवियसली आप लोगों ने मेंशन किया था कि सर पेपर एंड बोर्ड के अंदर में लोअर वॉल्यूम होते हैं इसलिए हायर इंपोर्टेड वॉल्यूम्स आ रहे थे लोअर प्राइसेस पे. तो अभी करंट सिनेरियो में तो बाजार ऐसे ही लग रहा है कि कोई डंपिंग नहीं हो रही होगी और एंटी डंपिंग तो इम्पोज हो गई है, लेकिन आपने कहा कि इस पे स्टे आ गया है. तो स्टे कब तक एंड हो सकता है ये भी बता दें. और अब कोई
जी वो can't sort of comment on how much time the court takes. All we can say we are very pushing hard for early resolution and early hearings. As we speak, that is all we can comment, जी. But जहाँ तक dumping का सवाल है जी, is still happening. In that, of course, the magnitude is much lower, both on account of the immediate threat that if the stay removes, then this will come into play, and also the global supply chain disruptions की वजह से भी the arrival of imported material is sort of curtailed, but it is still happening, जी.
ओके सर. अभी आपने मेंशन किया था कि 9% प्राइस आपने जैन से इंक्रीज की है ना अराउंड, आपने यही मेंशन किया है.
जी बाय एंड लार्ज जी, बिकॉज वो पेपर फर्क है, बोर्ड फर्क है, ब्राउन बोर्ड फर्क है, तो वो
उसके अंदर रॉ मटेरियल का भी रीजन है कि रॉ मटेरियल की प्राइस बढ़ने का रीजन है कि ये एक्चुअली मार्जिन का बेनिफिट.
जी देखें, रॉ मटेरियल में फ्रेट का पोर्शन तो इज क्रिस्टलाइज्ड बिकॉज इसमें आपको पता है ट्रांसपोर्टेशन आल्सो प्लेज अ मेजर रोल. So that has been passed on. That's absolutely clear. But अगर आप कहें कि जी 29% import duty सारी implement होके प्राइस में रिफ्लेक्ट हुई है, वो अभी तक नहीं हुई जी.
जी महरोज साहब।
जी सर। सर मुझे ये जो अभी हमारे कोलीग ने भी सवाल किया था रिगार्डिंग डंपिंग। सर इन मैनी इंडस्ट्रीज नेशनल टैरिफ कमीशन ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन लॉन्ग विंडेड इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने के बाद जो है वो एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटीज इम्पोज करते हैं। फिर उसके बाद वो कोर्ट में केसेस चले जाते हैं, वहाँ से पोस्ट डेटेड चेक इशू होते हैं कोर्ट से, और वो फिर कस्टम से वो गुड्स रिलीज हो जाते हैं। ये जो है वो काफ़ी इंडस्ट्रीज फेस कर रही हैं। नॉलेज सपोज अगर ये स्टे ऑर्डर जो है वो मुस्तरद हो जाए, वो पैकेजिंग इंडस्ट्री के जो है वो हक में ये जो है वो फैसला भी आ जाए, इज देयर एनी रिस्क ऑफ दिस फ्लो ऑफ इंपोर्ट्स थ्रू अदर चैनल्स? क्योंकि हमेशा स्ट्रेटेजिकली जो इंडस्ट्री है वो तो सारे रूट्स को देख रही होती है कि अभी अगर मिलेट सपोज चाइना से हो रहा है तो अगर वहाँ पे डंपिंग लगती है तो क्या वो रीराउट होके किसी और कंट्री के थ्रू फ्लो हो सकता है? क्योंकि ये चीज़ें हम 2018 में भी देख चुके हैं।
महरोज बिल्कुल होता है, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट, ये बिल्कुल होता है, बट ये वही लोग कर सकते हैं जिनकी इट्स नॉट इजी टू ओवरनाइट पुट अप अ बोर्ड प्रोडक्शन फैसिलिटी इन अनदर कंट्री। इट्स अ 5 years to 7 years प्रोसेस, बट जिनकी ऑफ कोर्स ओवरसीज ऑपरेशंस हैं वो वहाँ से बिल्कुल शुरू कर सकते हैं। बट मैं आपको बताऊँ मैग्नीट्यूड ना इसका कर्टेल होता रहता है, बिकॉज आप इनिशियली वहीं से करते हो जहाँ आपके पास कैपेसिटी होती है। किसी और मुल्क से करना बिल्कुल पॉसिबल है, एंड देन विल रन आफ्टर दैट। अगर वहाँ से डंपिंग शुरू होगी विल अगेन गो टू एनटीसी, बिकॉज दिस इज लाइक यू सेड 2018 में भी था, 21 में भी था। इट्स अ कंटिन्यूस फाइट एंड विल कीप फाइटिंग। आई मीन दैट्स द बॉटम लाइन।
थैंक यू सर।
I think if I can just add, जो ये एंटी डंपिंग है ये हमारे एक प्रोडक्ट को इम्पैक्ट करती है which is bleach board. It doesn't impact our corrugated business or nor does it impact the folding box board या कागज to that extent. So that is why the idea is that if we can grow our corrugated business and fill that capacity, then really ये एंटी डंपिंग लगी हो या ना लगी हो उसका इम्पैक्ट इतना नहीं होगा।
बट आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड ऑन दैट कि जब एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी इम्पोजिशन हुई थी पास्ट ईयर्स पे, उसके बाद वॉल्यूमेट्रिक बेनिफिट काफ़ी ज़्यादा मिला था ओवरऑल पेपर इंडस्ट्री को। तो यस यू आर राइट ऑन द ब्लीच बोर्ड, बट अपेरेंटली ब्लीच बोर्ड भी एक मार्केट का अच्छा खासा साइज है ओवरऑल इंडस्ट्री में। तो जब एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटीज इम्पोज होती हैं और जब इम्पोजिशन होने के बाद वो इम्प्लीमेंट भी हो उसी लेवल पे उसी तरीके से।
ब्लीच बोर्ड की मार्केट इसलिए बड़ी है कि जो प्राइसेस है ब्लीच बोर्ड की पाकिस्तान में जो आ रही थी, जो मिस डिक्लेयर हो रही है, इट वाज कमिंग लोअर देन द पल्प प्राइस, राइट, व्हिच इज नॉट पॉसिबल। सो वो डेफिनेटली उसमें जो प्राइस डिक्लेरेशन थी was much lower than the actual price in the market. Now prices in China have also gone up because pulp prices around the world are going up. So वो कितनी देर तक वो misdeclaration करते रहेंगे, God knows, but that was the reason that the volume of bleach board went up because of the misdeclaration in price. It's not that all of a sudden, bleach board, and what happened was that the prices were that low that they were even lower than the folding box board price. So people started to then switch to imported bleach board. Now that trend has, I think, changed slightly, where even international prices, as I said, have gone up. But our focus is not really कि bleach board हम ज़्यादा बेचें. हमारा तो ये है कि अगर हम converted डब्बा ज़्यादा बेच सकें in terms of corrugated box जिसकी डिमांड बढ़ेगी पाकिस्तान में, and how can we do that more efficiently, because in that whole chain that we capture the margin of the paper board as well as our corrugated. So our goal is really to maximize the capacity of our Karachi corrugated plant.
Thanks for your valuable comments, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I would just like to add that in line with the PS6 requirements, the video recording link for this CBS will be put up on our website. The presentation has already been uploaded, and if there are any follow-up questions, you can use the email address which has been mentioned in the notice to PS6. Thank you very much for joining us. It was quite an interactive session. Have a good day. Khuda Hafiz.